good morning, world. Yes, and welcome to another yet fun-filled episode here with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. As we embark upon what will be another great episode this morning, we thank you all for chopping it up with us, and we thank you in advance for a time that will be had. And so, yes, world, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left something, back like we ain't got no clothes in our back, and for the world is a better place in the moment when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so, we thank you in advance, and we thank you for tuning in with us as we converse about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via our two Facebook pages, the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, as well as additionally on our Early Morning Sports Talk podcast Facebook page. On Instagram, you can find us as well at EMSTP underscore. Again, you can find us on IG at EMSTP underscore. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, and Jones, as well as our guests for that weekend. Today, it's June 7th of 2025. Wow, it just seemed like, Jamar, we just had entered 2025. Now we in June.
Man.
And we have seen yet another fascinating week in the sports world where we saw game one of the NBA Finals. And we saw the Indiana Pacers come out and shock folks. They came back. They battled in a game where it was just back and forth, consistently back and forth. And we'll talk about that. But the Indiana Pacers, Tyrese Halliburton, came out and they did what folks would say is shocked the world. They shocked the Thunder. I've never seen that arena that quiet before, but it happened. And so we got to talk about this NBA Finals. Additionally, Jamar, for our NHL fans, bro, this Panthers and Oilers series, you talking about great competition. This Stanley Cup, we got to talk about this too, bro. Just a little bit. Folks might not know that Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey. They might not know, but this guy's been winning awards for years. He's been knocking on the door, went to the Stanley Cup last year. The Panthers, Stanley Cup champions recently, got a dynasty going there. The Panthers was up game one, but the Oilers came back and beat them in overtime. And then in game two, they went back and forth in which the Panthers, in which they were now back 5-4. Well, and then we see our Chicago Sky rebound. And Angel Reese rebound. They 2-4, got two straight wins, and they play the Indiana Fever tonight. And so, with that being said, introducing my brother from another mother, and my partner here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Mr. Jamar Goodman, good morning, sir. How are you, bro?
Man, what the Hallie? What the Halliburton, dog? Oh, I can't wait to talk about that one. That is fantastic. Oh,
it has been, bro. And so we got to get into that. And so that being said, let's get right into it, bro. NBA playoffs, but now it's the NBA Finals. You see what happened in this game, but give us your thoughts, man. What happened in this NBA Finals game and how we here?
Boy, I'm first. I'm gonna say I went to sleep at the end of the third quarter.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Jamar. I went to sleep living overseas too, and I woke up and I couldn't believe my phone.
Exactly. I just know to that point, like the Thunder was controlling the game for the most part. They always had like somewhere between an 8 to 15 point lead, like type deal throughout the game. You know, Indiana would have its spurts, but then the Thunder would answer right back and just control that lead. So yeah, I ended up falling asleep in the third. I'm like, okay. I wake up middle of the night. First thing I do is to check my phone, and I saw the Pacers won by 1 point. So I immediately cut the TV on. Started looking for highlights. I'm just dumbfounded. Like it's, it's just like I don't know. It's like the Pacers can do no wrong. Halliburton in these moments can do no wrong, bro. They just can't. Like this team is so resilient, and there are still like I feel like there's still non-believers of this Pacers team. And I get it, right? Um, it's more so like how they end up winning these games and stuff, and coming back in these historic comebacks, and yeah, dude. But we talked about it though for several weeks now that the Pacers they have a lot of different players that can get you. They have a lot of ammunition, and it's not just the same person all the time. And I think that's what makes Tyrese Halliburton like special because he's the maestro of all this. He's controlling all of this. He realized he don't have to score 30 a night for them to be great.
Exactly.
He realized he has to put his teammates in the best position possible. And then he picks his spots, his moments at the right time. He always makes the right decision. So when you have players like Nembhard who's battling against SGA, and they're both Canadian, both on the on their national team, and he knows how to play them, and he's not backing down from the fight. And the way he just put the James Harden move, step back on him, I'm like, my gosh, he's not fearful at the moment at all. And when you have Miles Turner hitting threes off the glass from the wing and stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, Siakam just relentless out there, and that's the one person I was telling Tiana before the game that I was telling Tiana before the game, like my brain says OKC is gonna win and they will cover the spread. But I also told her there's a small part of me. If the Pacers gonna make this a series, they have to win game one. They have to win game one. And I said there was two things that was going in their favor. They have Pascal Siakam, who's been there before. And you have Rick Carlisle, who's definitely been there before, and who's probably a better coach than the other guy. It's to the point to where I don't even know the other coach's name. Like I don't.
I don't either.
As great as the Oklahoma City Thunder is, I don't
know his last name.
I don't know. I just know he has them playing elite defense at all times. That's all I know. But nevertheless, look, I know there's been the conversation, is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar? This and that. Like, look, I don't care about any of that. But what I do care about is you have to play. Obviously, you have to play a full 48 minutes against this Pacers team. You just have to. Their first lead was 0.3 seconds left in the game. That's unheard of. 0.3.
Right.
0.3. And he has showed you time and time again in these playoffs that he is not scared of the moment. He is not. He's on a historical run with these clutch shots. Like, this here is by far something that we probably will never see again as far as just being this big time in these moments, and a team that's never out of it, no matter what the odds are stacked against them. I know it's just one game, but my gosh, this team, like the odds in this series, it reminds me of the Pistons and the Lakers back in 2004. It reminds me of that, where coming to the series, ain't nobody expected the Pistons to beat the Lakers that year, let alone they beat them in 5.
Right.
And it kind of reminds me of the Raptors and the Warriors. But granted, it took 2 injuries for the Warriors to lose, but nevertheless, nobody expect the Raptors to win that series either. So, bro, I'm happy. I'm ecstatic. Yeah, I picked the Thunder, but it's just like I'm just happy for basketball in general. Like I'm just a purist fan. Like I'm like, this here brings excitement. And then the last thing I say, and I've been telling a couple people, if the Pacers end up winning the championship, it will put the league in shambles. It will put the league in shambles. And I think that would ultimately like bring bad news for our Bulls. because pretty much the GM going to be like, oh well, see how the Pacers just end up winning with a team with no quote unquote true alpha superstar, and we can just build around role players. We're gonna make Kobe White our Tyrese Halliburton and just let him I feel like that's, but nevertheless, Pacers win the NBA Finals. It's gonna put the league in shambles. It just is, but I'm okay for it. I'm here for it. But yeah, man, I kid you not. Woke up middle of the night, saw that. I'm like, what? I couldn't go back to sleep for a while. I'm just searching for all the highlights, all the coverage. I'm like, I be dead, dude. But yeah, that's wow. What I got, bro.
Man, bro. So for me, I'm looking at the first thing. Like you mentioned, Indiana Pacers, they consistently play for 48 minutes. But what I like to, it reminds me of is a person that consistently attacks you. It's like a person that is like a Michael Myers. They have no conscience. They know no better. They don't know to be tired. They don't know to stop. TJ McConnell don't know to just stop running. He knows to continue to put you on your heels all night long, non-stop, all day, every day. The Pacers do the same thing. If you ever see this team, they attack OKC, but OKC was attacking too. Now, don't get me wrong. But Indiana, when they attacked and they didn't turn the ball over, you saw how efficient they was. Now, don't get me wrong. We see how great OKC is. That's a fucking fantastic team. Bro, they turned them over 19 times in the first half. Anybody with common sense and our three viewers know, if you turn a team over 19 times, you should blow their ass out. But the Indiana Pacers, when they didn't turn the ball over, they made it count when they didn't turn the ball over. And that's what makes this team so scary. It's the fact that they turned the ball over 19 times, Jamar, and still came out with the W. In the first half, that is. 25 total in the game. Turn the ball over 19 times, bro. You only down by 6 points at the end of the first half. And so it's a lot of layers with this team. My first layer is low-key. They are great defensively. I don't know who say they not, but people need to stop that narrative, Jamar, because they held their own defensively too. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. They didn't turn the ball over versus OK. I mean, they didn't get turnovers like OKC did. But one thing they did do is they made sure that they defended. And you saw Nembhard. He was up on SGA. He got enough. SGA bust his ass for 38 points. But at the same time, he did enough in those final few minutes, bro, as you watch the game. Oh, no, if you watch the highlights, anybody see the game, he did enough in those final few possessions to make SGA miss 2 times. He did enough, bro, 2 times. And so between him and Nesmith, Nembhard was on him most of the game. He did enough to make him miss those final 2 possessions, and voila. Halle Curry, whatever you want to call it, Mr. Clutch Bones, whatever you want to call it. But it's the others, man, too. The second layer, bro, is Obi Toppin. Every time OKC win and they did something great, he went down and he hit a 3. 5 threes.
Yeah.
This a bench guy. You know? And the scary part about Indiana is you could say, bro, game 2, we can guarantee Obi Toppin ain't gonna have that type of game. I don't know, bro. This is fucking Indiana Pacers here. People sit here and think the obvious, and they keep defying the unobvious. It's the reason why I said in the first round of the playoffs, people gonna have serious problems with this team. Giannis, game 4. They thought it was over. Game 4, Giannis. Trent Jr. going off, right? What Indiana do? Comeback kids. Second round, Cleveland going off game 2. Max Strus. Indiana. shocked their ass. Game 1, New York, blowing them out, beating them at their own game. Scree fight, New York beating them. Now, of course, New York, they might got some regrets, Jamar. They might have some regrets in New York because if they won game 1, that's probably a whole different series, and that's probably a 7-game series. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, it's a 7-game series in New York. They blew it, though. Choked. As Tyrese stated, choked. And Tyrese Reggie Miller, though, had the Garden quiet. And then you go in OKC and you do the same thing. OKC has the team to bounce back. But we want to put it out here in the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast that I don't think the Pacers is just some normal team that we've seen that you see every year. Oh, yeah, game 2, OKC going to bust their ass. They're going to come out angry. Okay, they will. But you better know in advance that Indiana is going to have a punch for their ass again. And it's very, very, very serious to note that Indiana will come out and they are going to attack OKC. I know this team. They're going to come out because I've watched them and studied them. I've been telling Jamar since the in-season tournament last year when they played the Lakers in that championship. I'm like, some brewing in Indiana. Some brewing in Indiana. Some brewing there. They finna be a problem. They finna be a problem for people. And they ain't finna have no big names. And it's just all come to fruition. A person that I went to college with, shout out to Asia Maxwell. That's my old girlfriend, Jamar. Mm-hmm. We occasionally talk to each other. She went to Purdue with us. She a big Pacers fan. She told me, Brandon, you forget that last year in the conference finals, Tyrese Halliburton was hurt.
That's true.
She like, I believe that series would have been way different if he wasn't injured. Yeah, Boston would have won, but we at least would have got 2. And who knows what could have happened? I mean, it's Tyrese Halliburton. And so
she's not lying.
And what she's saying is that people in Indiana, they don't have to view him as a superstar. They just have to view him as a killer that kills you with multiple different ways. It doesn't have to be the traditional 38 points, bro.
No.
It was assists. Go ahead. You was gonna say something?
Yeah, I just want to 2 things that really just like it kind of reminded me when you start throwing out stats and I had to look. It was 2 things that really jumped out at me. You mentioned the turnovers, 19 in the first half, which is insane. The fact that, and you mentioned like maybe Obi Toppin, maybe not might shoot like that in game 2. But what I will say is, I don't think there's no way that the Pacers are going to turn the ball over 25 times again. I mean, that created 16 more shot attempts for the Thunder. And just think about it. Siakam at the end of the game, after the game in the hallway said, we didn't even play well. They didn't play well. Right. They didn't play their best. So there's a whole nother level to this Pacers team. And the other stat that's very alarming, the Pacers out-rebounded the Thunder 56-39. The Pacers are,
and that's crazy because Jamar, just really quickly, dog. Everybody and their mama on sports books, MGM, Dabble, every app. Everybody and their mama was like, "Oh, Mitchell Robinson was getting rebounds all over Indiana. We gonna bet Chet Holmgren. We gonna bet Isaiah Hartenstein."
But the one thing, I think the big thing that led to that though, for whatever reason, the Thunder changed their starting lineup.
Yeah.
They didn't have Hartenstein and Holmgren out there at the same time. Like, you matched the Pacers for what? Like, your biggest thing was your advantage with the 2 bigs that hardly anybody ever plays in this league. That was your thing. And why the heck would you do that? You just gave – that's the main reason why the Pacers out of all teams out-rebounded somebody. That should never happen. Ever.
Right. And it shows that the Thunder, the Pacers were in their head. Yeah. They were right here. Because if you go change your lineup to do that, it's saying a lot. It's saying, okay, we want to play small ball with them, and we believe we can beat them at small ball. And I got news. There ain't many teams in the league that can beat Indiana at small ball.
No, you're playing right into their hands.
Right. And don't get me wrong, OKC came out, they was putting their foot on their ass the first half. It's the reason why me and Jamar, to our two viewers, we went to sleep. We went to sleep. I went to sleep. I thought OKC was gonna finish them. I'm like, man, these turnovers. I'm like, I'm gonna wake up in the fourth quarter. They're gonna be up by 2025. That's what the average brain thought. But I guess we got quick amnesia. I know. I guess I got quick amnesia. Um, I guess I forgot about what happened with Milwaukee. I guess I forgot what happened with Cleveland. Guess I forgot what happened in New York. Um, and one thing that's true about each of those series, dog, they took game one in all those series on the road.
I didn't even think about that. You're
You
right.
know, and
You're
so that makes things highly intriguing because they took game one in each series on the freaking road. And so
That's insane. I didn't even think about that. You're absolutely right.
the heart in this team, the Road Warriors, whatever you want to call it, we are seeing New York Jets in the NBA form. We are seeing the '06 Pittsburgh Steelers, Jamar. We are seeing the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow in his second season. Um, we are seeing this literally happen. We are seeing the Anaheim Angels, who came the Road Warriors. We are seeing the teams that come out. We are seeing hockey teams, the 8 seed that come win the Stanley Cup. Like,
Yeah.
we are seeing this type of activity, literally, and it's amazing to see, man. And Indiana, I just think just for game two, bro, because I think game three, we're gonna see what happens. We definitely gonna see what happens, but with game two, this is the biggest game I think of OKC season because, as I stated to you, well, as I've seen, I didn't believe too much in OKC, honestly, in the first round. But one thing we got to say about OKC is this: they have been down against Denver. They lost game one. Came back, blew them out game two. They were down 2-1 against Denver. Came back, won game four, won game five.
Yeah.
Slayed a huge dragon in Denver. And so, what can we say? And I want to just ask you, Mark, what can we say about OKC and their resiliency? Because they got a resilient squad over there too. And so they feel like they lost the game, OKC. They feel like they blew the game. And so what is this the most important game of the series for OKC game two? Or do you
No, I think it is. I think it is. But you mentioned it when I mentioned the starting lineup adjustment. You mentioned the fact that they got in their head before the game. Like, how in the heck did you even think that was a good idea? Because had they probably had their initial starting lineup and did what they were supposed to do, I mean, there's a very good chance that we be talking about OKC dominated game one. But I mean, this is one of those. I would imagine OKC come out in game two and lay the hammer. I would imagine, but then again, what we've seen from the Pacers this whole playoffs,
Indiana, they can come lay the hammer versus Minnesota. They can come lay the hammer against Denver. And the crazy part about it is, if Minnesota played Indiana, if Denver played Indiana, we would say, I'm picking Denver. I'm picking Minnesota, and I wouldn't blame you. But the thing is that based off of what we've seen from Indiana playoffs, it doesn't look like in game two that even if they throw a punch, I feel like Indiana's still going to continue to put pressure on their ass. It's going to be constant like it always is. And they can steal game two is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, they can. I mean, I guess goes to the Frank's point here. He said the Pacers are low-key underrated. What makes them a great team is they don't double too much. So mostly they go one-on-one throughout the game. But what their coaching is going great is at rotating 10 to 11 players, which makes no one is gassed at the end of the games, which goes to your point. If you watch closely, you'll notice OKC were gassed. Shea was tired to wrap game one. Hallie was playing as he could about start the game again. Like, that's like you said, they come at you with a 448 because they go deep in their bench. I mean, Rick Carlisle has been doing this all year. We already talked about before. They had 7 guys average double-digit points in the regular season. I mean, this team is built for moments like this. Rick Carlisle has always been a particular like surgical type head coach. He just happened to find the right combination of players on this team that works. When they made the trade for Siakam at the deadline last year, it changed the dynamic of this team. Because to your point, we were talking about the Pacers in that in-season tournament, in that inaugural tournament, making this run. Yeah, you noticed it. And I also noticed the fact that they was leading the league in scoring. They couldn't stop nobody, but they were scoring.
Right.
They were scoring at a very high clip. But when they made the trade for Siakam, that was the beginning of this team probably turning the corner like it is. And they got more than a year integrated. They figured it out. They got they developed this bench, and these players are out here hooping. Like it's just like we at the park. We at the Y, whatever. We out here hooping. So yeah, and the shot that Shea missed at the end of the game, right in the paint, he hits that 9 times out of 10. He hits that shot. This man is usually automatic. He just happened to strong arm it, back of the rim. Neesmith the rebound, find the ball to Toppin the Halliburton, no timeouts called, and the pull-up. Do you know how difficult that pull-up was? If you're going right in the pull-up, you're going on the right side to pull up and you're right-handed, that is difficult. That is very difficult. And he made the right read because Caruso was getting ready to double, but then at the last second, Caruso backed off because Siakam was doing a backdoor cut to get him some more space. So either he was going to hit the cut. I know Dort came from the weak side to try to prevent the cut, but nevertheless, he made the right read. The pull up had Case and Wallace on him instead of Dort. That's why they didn't call timeout. Instead of regroup and just go with the flow. Like that difficulty of that shot at that moment to silence the whole crowd. I saw nothing more than maybe 5 or 6 Pacers fans jumping up and down. That was a scene to watch, man. I feel like I'm watching a movie with these playoffs, and I'm loving it.
Man, bro, I'm loving it too, man. I'm loving it too. And so, man, shout out to the Indiana Pacers. Fantastic game 1 of the NBA Finals. And so we will see what happens game 2. We're gonna see what happens if OKC gonna bounce back. We gotta see. So let's see what OKC does. So with that being said, bro, let's talk a little bit of hockey, man. And so this might not be some that a lot of people are interested in, but this reminds me, Jamar, I gotta tag a few folks because I haven't tagged them in a while. And it reminds me of Anthony. You remember Anthony, bro, that was on the podcast before?
Yeah.
Yeah, big hockey fan. And so I'm gonna tag our boy here and just get him on here. Anthony, who else was a big hockey fan? Yep, Eric J. Lindsay. All right. Now I've tagged our hockey fans. Bro, I don't know if folks have really understood this story behind hockey. Okay. Connor McDavid is viewed as the best player in hockey. At least he should be. Now, people might say, "Oh, it's Alex Ovechkin." No, he's the best. He's the
No, not in 2025. Maybe in 2005, but not in 2025.
Yeah, exactly. And so this man, Connor McDavid, he has been viewed as the one of the best hockey players. We call it the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. And so, last year, if you remember, this is a part 2 of this Stanley Cup, because in 2024 was Florida versus Edmonton last year. And I was sitting there thinking, and I remember you saying, Jamar, your exact words was, Connor McDavid, man, the only thing he has left to do is to get the championship at this point, because he's been regarded as one of the best players of hockey. The story remains the same now. It's the same now. 2025, you got a rematch. He might not be the MVP of hockey this year. We'll see. But he has the opportunity. And also, he's won playoff MVP too, which means that in hockey, bro, you don't have to win a Stanley Cup necessarily to be the playoff MVP.
Hmm.
You know, and so he has plenty of accolades. It's just at this point he got to win the Stanley Cup. And so last night, Florida, man, Edmonton had them on the ropes, dog. They had them on the ropes. And I didn't watch the game, but I listened to it as I was sleeping. And I woke up because I'm like, hold up, wait. And I'm like, I know they're going back and forth. And then I hit a goal at the end, and I'm like, damn, Florida came and shocked them right in Edmonton. And so this is 1-1. This is a great story for over there now. This one, this would be 3 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay had a dynasty. And so I if you can hear me.
I can now, I think. You there? I think we got some technical difficulties on his end. Yeah, so until we get him back. Yeah, that was a heck of a game by the Florida Panthers to pull it out in double overtime, even though Edmonton forced overtime. What looked like 20 seconds left in the game to force overtime. Connor McDavid with the hockey assist to Perry, but man, this here is a heck of a series. Like you said, it's a rematch. And the only thing left for Connor McDavid is to win it. We got you back.
Yes, I agree.
But go ahead, finish what you were saying, man.
Oh no, man! I was just saying, man, bro. That's the only thing that's left at this point. And so, if you ask me who will win, I would say Florida because they stole one in Edmonton and they are the former Stanley Cup champions. And the truth is I don't know a name on Florida, but I just know they're a very good hockey team and that they come around to play at this time of the year, and here they are again. And so I think Florida will repeat. And but if Connor McDavid get it, it's gonna be like Alexander moment when the Capitals can finally got him one. It's like a very similar feeling, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Edmonton. One thing I learned years ago, and this was doing the Blackhawks run and stuff back then, which really got me back into hockey. That home ice don't mean a darn thing in these playoffs. I've seen so many times where a lower seed will come in and just smack the mess
it
out
happens
of
all the time.
Like it means nothing
in hockey. It happens
nothing.
all the time. The A seeds are better than the 1 seeds a lot, most years.
It reminds me of baseball. Like if the team is hot at the right time, and all bets are off. Like we've seen in baseball. We've seen with the Colorado Rockies when you go all the way to the World Series. Like, what is this? So yeah, so I'm pulling for McDavid. I want to see it. I want to see it because he is definitely regarded as the best player in hockey, and it's like he's doing things at his age and his level, like on a better trajectory than a lot of greats. So it's like I want to see greatness. Like that's one thing that has probably kept me somewhat at least a fair weather fan of hockey to keep me engaged is just the greatness of players over the years. Heck, I remember being in high school watching Alex Ovechkin out there still. So it's like, what the heck? The fact that he's still playing, it's like that's pretty cool to me. So yeah, I hope he pulls it. But nevertheless, I mean, playoff hockey is like it's one of a kind, and it is very entertaining. So
right. And so the one thing I just got to say, the one final thing is I heard Wayne think he stated the only thing for Connor McDavid to do at this point is to hold that he could continue to build his legacy. So I'm like, yes, I stand in agreement.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. And so next, bro, Chicago Sky. Chicago Sky, bro, they got 2 wins this week. I mean, it was over the same team, the Dallas Wings. But they took care of them at home. They took care of them on the road. And so I don't view it as something that's super impressive because it's the Dallas Wings. It's the worst team in the league. But they're wins. And in the WNBA, you just got to be somewhere around 500 or something like that, or be that, just to get to the playoffs. And the goal for Angel and this team, she said, is to get this team to the playoffs. And so they play the Indiana Fever tonight. And I want your pick, Jamar. They're in Chicago at the Wintrust, bro. 7 p.m. And I believe it might be, 7 p.m. Chicago Standard Time. So it should be a nationally televised game.
CBS.
But okay, so what?
CBS.
CBS, cool. And so Angel Reese, this might be her moment to get a win versus the Fever, not necessarily against Caitlin Clark, but she was viewed, and I read in the ESPN that she could be coming back this week. I'm not sure if it'll be tonight though.
No, so I think they're aiming for Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, I thought it was Tuesday, Wednesday. And so, with that being said, who you got for this one, bro? You got the Sky or Fever?
I'm gonna take our team. This will be a big momentum type deal to pull this one off. Granted, if Caitlin's playing or not, it's just one of those to where you got to go out and get a win. A win is a win. You got to start stacking wins, getting momentum going. This is part of the WNBA Commissioner's Cup, so I'm gonna go on and say we get it done. And Angel Reese probably plays the best game of the season so far because she needs it, and maybe could also be relevant, show up more consistently. I know that's been your biggest gripe.
She showed up the last 2 games, and I'm like, okay, if she shows up, we're
yes, that's been the biggest thing for growth for us. She has to show up. I mean, you was a top pick for a reason. So, and you
6'7", girl. You 6'7",
doing your thing in South Carolina. Like, come on, do your thing in the league. We waiting on it. But yeah, I know Indiana has weapons outside of Caitlin. I get that. But right. I'm just hoping, this primetime game on national TV and rivalry type atmosphere. There's a lot of people on social media just talking down on Angel Reese and her game and stuff. And I mean, some of it is probably warranted. But it's like, this is one of those, put up or shut up moments. Like, this is a great opportunity for her to actually go out and prove people wrong. So I'm gonna pick. Right. I'm gonna pick our team. I might put on the clown makeup afterwards, but I'm gonna pick them.
No, I'm with you. I'm picking the Sky too, dog. And the reason why I'm picking the Sky is because when I look at the Fever, they are 3-4. They've been struggling without Caitlin Clark. With her, they were 2-1. So they've lost 3 or 4 without her. And so they're struggling. Now, yes, they do have weapons. Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, some others. I know that Stephanie, the girl from Phoenix, the blonde, I forgot her last name, but I know her first name is Stephanie. She got injured, and so I know that sucks for the Fever. She really, crucial for them. She would have been crucial for them in the playoffs. And so the Fever should be fine without Caitlin Clark because she was only injured for a little bit, bro. You know what I'm saying? So even if they would lose tonight to the Sky, they'll only be 3-5. But if they get this win, then it'll be big. So the Fever, they trying to win this game for sure. it would be nothing more for the Fever again. It would be amazing for the Fever, bro. If they could beat the Sky without Caitlin Clark, that would be such a huge confidence booster for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so if they win this tonight, they're gonna be like Green Bay to the Bears. Like, we own y'all. We ain't even got Caitlin Clark, and we still beat y'all. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Right.
definitely gonna feel that way.
Right. And so this is a big game for the Sky for various reasons. But it's big for their confidence. This has to be a confidence game. And then if you win this game as well, trajectory, you win this game. Get in this game, Sky, tonight. This is a big game, and I'm gonna watch it too. Daughters, because Abigail likes to play basketball now, and so I'm gonna watch this game tonight and pay attention to it because it's a big game for the Sky, and they need this one. They need this one big.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Did I lose you? You there?
I'm trying to be
Uh-oh. All right. So as we wait on Brandon to come back, I guess we can get into some baseball here. Unfortunately, one of the teams in Chicago is doing pretty well. It just happened to be the other team, the enemy I'm playing. But Chicago Cubs been doing their thing. If I'm not mistaken, pulling up the records here real quick. Cubs got the second best record in the NL, just a half game behind the New York Mets. They are in the series against the Tigers, who, to my understanding, is the best team in the AL right now somehow. But that's where we're at. I know they have that fantastic pitcher who's probably going to end up winning the Cy Young Award. I'm trying to remember his name. I'll have it here in a second. Scooble, yeah, that guy has been lights out this year. But yeah, Cubs, they have a lineup of players that can beat you in a bunch of different ways. They have a high power offense. We talked about it last week. The pitching is solid. Their bullpen is definitely better this year than last year. Last year they gave us so many games. They would at least won half of the games they gave up. They would have been a playoff team. So they probably still make a move for another, pitcher, probably for the bullpen. I think they're still trying to figure out who exactly their full-time closer is going to be. But nevertheless, I mean, they are a fun team to watch by far. Here we go. You good?
Yeah, so I was trying to press the button for 30 damn minutes. I don't know what was happening, man.
Man.
And so, yeah, back to the Cubs. We tracking the Cubs because the Cubs are doing well. The Cubs are winning games. And right now they are right in the mix of home field advantage in the National League. And so we just want to keep this team on the radar, bro, as we go forward, because potentially we could be looking at something to where, Jamar, there could be some October baseball at Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
And I love the sound of it. I love the sound of that.
Yeah, that's definitely, unless something catastrophic happens, that's what's going to happen. And we know playoff baseball, when your city or your team is in it, it feels different. It has a different vibe. You're more energized. You're more happy. It's more of a excitement built up. It's fun. it's fun as a fan.
Yeah.
And yeah, even though can't stand them fools, but nevertheless, if playoff baseball was here in Chicago, I'm excited for it deep down. But we do have news on the other side of town, though. We do have news.
Right. And so, what's the news for our Chicago White Sox?
Yeah, so good old Jerry Reinsdorf. I had to look up his age yesterday. The man is
All
89
right,
years old. 89. Actually has a succession plan. Crap, I forgot the owner's name of the Suns, but pretty much his brother.
Yes.
And pretty much in detail, by 2029, he can I guess there's
It's Justin Ishbia.
Thank you. Justin Ishbia. Thank you. So pretty much as early as 29, he could be the owner of the team, but Jerry, it'd be up to Jerry if he wanted to sell full-time, ownership to him. But at the latest, 2034, that is the year to where by that point, Ishbia can pretty much take over full control and keep it moving. So there is a plan, and the Ishbias have money. The Ishbias are not scared to spend money to win. And that's pretty much the biggest thing I took away from this. There is light. Now, the light may not be as soon as we want it, but at least I know that within the next decade, this team is going to act like a big market team, like it should, and stop playing small ball and not being one or two teams that has not given $100 million contract to a player. How ridiculous is that?
Right.
So just knowing that, and they will keep the team in Chicago. So just knowing that we're gonna have an owner that's willing to win, that's willing to spend money and actually build the roster up, that's exciting. So maybe within the next 10 years, I can go to a game in Chicago, and if it's there or is it a new state, I don't care at that point. I just know I'm gonna go to a game knowing that my team will actually have a competent ownership behind it, and maybe the team on the field at the time might actually be relevant. Who knows? But just knowing that there's a plan in the future that Jerry will not have hands on this team anymore, that's great.
It's very good.
Yeah,
it's very good.
The fact that the man is 89 years old, how much longer do you plan on doing this, dude?
Right. Yeah, man. But folks, when it comes to money, man, especially the wealthy, it ain't no stopping for them. The greedy gets greedy, and so he gonna hold it just like Mrs. McCaskey. God rest her soul. She ain't let that thing go till she died. She ain't let that thing go. And so for him, 2034, that sound like he'd be around 100, somewhere around 100 years old. He ain't trying to let it go till he died. It makes sense. And so I wish, but you know how that works with money, man. And so we'll see, man. The White Sox, I hope that stadium is built in the South Loop, dog. And that comes with some new ownership. And then the White Sox get a fresh new start, man. Fresh new start.
Man.
Last thing I got, bro, I want to ask a quick question. Fans Basement. Do you think that the Chicago Bears, the reason why they've been in quarterback purgatory is because of the elements being right near Lake Michigan at Soldier Field? Do you think that plays a role in why the Chicago Bears, just like the Cleveland Browns, being right near Lake Erie? I've stated this on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast before. Do you think the reason why the Bears have been in quarterback purgatory is not necessarily because of the development of people that they hire, but because of the elements of Chicago?
No, absolutely not. No, we are not giving that as a cop out. Nope, not gonna do it. Not going to do it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it is elements around here, but I mean, isn't there elements in Green Bay that's a little bit colder?
But no, it's wind here. It's not just cold.
What about Buffalo?
Buffalo, yeah, Buffalo might be worse than Chicago.
Yeah. What about Buffalo?
Buffalo's right near Niagara
Mm-hmm.
Falls.
And yet, in their history, Josh Allen, Doug Flutie, Jim Kelly.
Okay, Buffalo might be the outlier.
Well, pretty much.
What about the? But no. Buffalo's worse than Chicago, so that shut down everything because Buffalo got more
Mm-hmm.
snow than us. They're northerner. They're more northern
Mm-hmm.
than us. But let me ask you this: do you think that's why the Bears are moving to Arlington Heights so that they can be in the inside stadium?
No,
Do you think the elements played a role in
no.
this? Being near Lake Michigan, being near the water, snowing, a lot of
I ain't
wind,
trying to hear it.
hard for that ball to get the velocity
No,
it needs.
no. I'm not trying to hear it. The team, the whole organization, is just incompetent on developing quarterbacks. I mean, that's just a simple answer. I think the reason for the new stadium is to generate more money, and they didn't want to be in Soldier Field no more because that just dealing with the city of Chicago just been hell within itself. Um, no, the Bears just incompetent. I mean, so like
So it's just incompetence. That's
yes.
it.
I mean, there's a reason why the Buffalo Bills drafted Josh Allen. They wanted Josh Allen. You know why? Because Josh Allen is a big body with a strong arm that can probably, uh, battle against that whole outdoor element stuff. They purposely wanted Josh Allen, and it turned out probably a lot better than they thought it would. But yes, I mean, Josh Allen is a prime example. Like, we just going to draft somebody that can withstand all of that. And they drafted the MVP. So what can you say?
Mm. Okay. And so, Jake, we haven't heard from you since Doomsday. Uh, it's good to know that he actually support the podcast. Um, we appreciate your commentary. And yes, we are very excited for this new stadium in Arlington Heights. Um, it's going to be very intriguing to see how the developments of the stadium just happened because I lived in Arlington Heights, bro. I've seen the racetrack every day. It's a lot of space there. And now the folks that primarily support the Bears, bro, all them northern suburban folks, they don't got to drive way to Soldier Field now. They can just drive right to Arlington Heights. And so I think that was a big reason too. Money talks, money walks, money speaks. And you know, uh, I hear both of you guys about the development of the quarterbacks, but part of me asks this question because it's just the elements of Chicago, and it's just the elements. We got some different elements here, but I definitely understand you guys' points, and so we'll see, man, what happens with the organization. Go ahead,
Gotcha.
Jamal.
And then I did have one question for you while we're in the basement. I was hoping the founder of this basement was here because I really want him in here for this one.
Mm,
All right. We all saw Tom Thibodeau get fired.
right.
What are your thoughts on that?
So, my thoughts on it is the New York Knicks could not go deep. They didn't have a team as deep as Indiana. Indiana, 10, 11 players, right, that plays in a basketball game. Throughout the season, if you're playing Jalen Brunson, as example, and you're up 25 points versus the Washington Wizards, and you want to play Jalen Brunson, bro, until 2 minutes left in the game, it eventually over time weighs down the body. And then that's not even considering what's happened over the years with Tom Thibodeau with the New York Knicks. I'm not even talking about I'm just talking about how he weighs down players. I think him doing that, bro, alongside with him having that reputation. But then when you have that reputation and you know what's happening, as I told you, even in the second round, they were beating the Celtics. The head coach for the Celtics, Mazzulla, he took his players out, bro. He took, after Jaylen Brown fouled out, he threw in the towel. he had his bench players in, Jamar. Tom Thibodeau still had his starters in. How like, if that ain't stubborn, I don't know what stubborn is. Like, he still got his starters in. And so if I'm the owner, I'm sitting there and I'm listening to TNT. Richard Jefferson is begging. Not even but this is ESPN, sorry. Richard Jefferson on ESPN is begging Tom Thibodeau. Take at least Jalen Brunson out. Get him out the fucking game. You won the series. Get him out. I mean, damn it. If you want to play Karl-Anthony Towns, you got to get him out eventually too. But you got to get Jalen Brunson out. You got to. And so when we look at that alongside keeping Cat in, Anunoby ain't get out Jamar to 3 minutes in the game versus Boston. Over time, that weighs, bro. But then you look bad when you start trying to do what Indiana do and start playing your bench. Maybe the players are speaking to him and saying, "Hey, we fucking tired." You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they say, "I got this." You see what I'm saying, Jamar? It's like me coming to you as the head coach and saying, "Hey, Jamar, man, my calf coach is fucking with me. I can't." And so now he's forced at this point, when all he had to do throughout the season was rely on his bench. Tom Thibodeau is the type of guy, he whether get the 2 seed in the East, whether to get the 4 seed in the East and have a healthy team. Indiana do that. That's why they're in the finals. New York should have beat Indiana, but New York wasn't as deep. They were burnt out. You could see it. It's why they had to go deep in their bench. And if I'm the ownership and I'm Leon Rose, I'm saying, Tom Thibodeau, you are a great coach, man. You one of the best coaches in the NBA. You know how to get the best out of your players. You know how to get no-name guys, do whatever they have to do. But you do that, and then on top of that, you blow that series. You blow game one especially. Now, he can't make free throws, Tom Thibodeau. So, unfortunately, yeah, you can't make free throws. But if I'm Leon Rose, and I know you disagreeing because you probably like, okay, I know your face. We've been brothers for years. But if I'm looking at the overall season, it's probably best that Tom Thibodeau was fired. And it's a lot when TNT, everybody and their mama, the whole screaming I'm watching, get them out the game. Get them out the game. Get them out the game. It's why in the conference finals, their legs was burnt out, their bodies was beat up, and they couldn't give it all versus a team that had a very deep rotation. And they ain't got to go through that because they got guys that, they got guys that could all get in. And if Tom Thibodeau would have did that throughout the season, Jamar, I think it would have been better. Yes, you beat Boston. That's great. You have Boston up technically 3-1 with Jason Tatum on the floor because you were going to win game 4 regardless of him getting injured or not. But Tom Thibodeau's the type of guy he'd rather get the 2 seed, Jamar, or the 1 seed with banged up players rather than getting the 4 seed and being healthy in the playoffs. Unfortunately, that's what cost him his shot.
All right, I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna address you. Jake said, I believe it was player personnel thing, and Tom has always didn't use his bench, just like the Wolves didn't use their bench players. But with the Knicks, I feel like it was something in that locker room as well. All right, so Mr. Brandon Price, now you pretty much. Well, I guess when I'm addressing you, I'm going to be addressing Ian at the same time because I think both of y'all are probably on the same side of the coin on this one. And I understand. Everything that you said, I mean, I can't disagree with. I can't. But when was the last time, and this is rhetorical unless you want to answer, when was the last time the New York Knicks was relevant like this?
1999.
Yeah, how many years ago was that?
When they went to the finals.
That's what, about 26 years ago? 26? Like we have lived in the last couple of weeks, we have lived in the age to where.
And keep in mind, bro. Keep in mind, the last time they went to the conference finals was 2000 when they played Indiana, and Indiana beat them to go to the finals.
So 25 years ago, a quarter century. We are finally living in an age to where we can say the New York Knicks have made it to the semifinals in their conference before the Dallas Cowboys. I'm still waiting on the Cowboys to get there. But yet the Cowboys are relevant. The New York Knicks has been an abysmal. The last head coach that has done things that Tom Thibodeau has done in his tenure was Jeff Van Gundy. Now, Mike Woodson did have a sprinkle in there with that Carmelo Anthony-led team, but outside of that, like, you had some busters as head coaches trying to make this New York Knicks thing like relevant again. And as we know, being an athlete or being a coach in New York City is probably one of the hardest things you can ever do in this country as far as sports related. Because they just, the level of expectations and the media, it's a whole nother level.
They won championships. They do.
I mean, Stephen A. Smith said the last time they won a championship, he was 5 years old. The man is pushing 60. I mean, they had Isaiah Thomas as a head coach. That was a whole flop. Matter of fact, I think he ruined some careers with those teams. They had Mike D'Antoni for a time. That was okay. I mean, Phil Jackson was part of the organization. That was abysmal. That was look, I get it. Like Tibbs is who he is. And I could be a bitter person too, because I could sit here and say that he was the reason why Derrick Rose's career went the way it went. I could sit here and say that. But I'm not. But what I can say is he led New York Knicks to back-to-back 50-win seasons since the 90s. Like, I feel like for your reasons and Ian's reason, a lot of people's reasons for Tibbs to be fired, I get it. But I feel like the timing of this, it's not a good timing. And yeah, on paper, it felt like the Knicks had the better roster than the Pacers. But I said it before the series started. It's not a good matchup. It was just not a good matchup based on how they played. It just wasn't. They did what they did in the offseason, what they did in the offseason to build their roster for the Celtics. They beat the Celtics. They did what they came to accomplish for this season. They beat the Celtics. They just happen to run to a bad matchup. And as we know in these playoffs, a lot of these series are dictated based off matchups. There's a bunch of great teams, but matchups mean a lot. They just happen to lose to a team that's just a bad matchup for them. That's how I look at it.
I wanted to know if we went through a survey and we went to those players. And I'm not even saying the players, but the starters, the guys for the New York Knicks. And we asked them, hey, this is an anonymous survey. Just an anonymous survey. Was Tom Thibodeau too hard on you guys throughout the season with playing you? And do you think that contributed to you and your team having fallen short in this conference finals? If we ask Cat, I think he would agree. If we ask Jalen Brunson, he might agree to a certain point. And I know he big for Tibbs, but at the same time, he had to go tell Tibbs in the conference finals, take Cat out the fucking game. And excuse my French, Shamar, but I like to curse sometimes. He said, take him out the game. And I use the F word because I'm just putting myself in the player's shoes. You see what I'm saying? And I'm looking at the game and I'm sitting there and he's saying to Coach Thibodeau, take him out the freaking game. Take him out. It ain't no point at this point. And so, although he had 50-win seasons, my brother, there have been plenty of championship teams that were great, but they had to let go of some in order to be greater. I think this is where the New York Knicks are. Sometimes with a team, it's not necessarily the coach that makes them great. It's the players. And so now you got possibly, who knows what's going on behind the scenes. We've been hearing a lot about Giannis potentially coming to New York. other San Antonio, other places too. But could it be that Leon Rose and the guys, they could be saying, hey, Giannis stated to me via phone call, hey, I want to come to New York, but I don't want to play under Tibbs. Could it be that? It's just a thought. Because he has that reputation now to where people probably don't want to go to New York that much because they probably understand that, hey, we're going to be burnt out. I firmly believe that's probably, I don't know, man. And so when it comes to Tibbs, it's unfortunate, bro, because you're right. He's a great coach, 50 wins. But sometimes you got to let go in order to soar to that next level. And I think that's just where the New York Knicks are. They got to let go. They talked to Jason Kidd, and they're talking to him, might be today, or they might talk to him next week. But you seen the report about Jason Kidd talking to the Knicks. They probably want a coach that has a different philosophy. And so Tibbs, his philosophy just got burnt out. You can't win a championship playing 90s basketball in 2025, dog. You can't. You can't. This ain't Jordan them trying to play 90 minutes. You gotta let that go. And so for me, I think that's why Tibbs was let go.
Once again, I don't like everything you say. I don't disagree with. I'm just at the point to where if you make this move, and regardless of whatever name you bring in, and if the team does not be better and they go back to irrelevancy,
right. It's gonna be a regret. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of people. Yeah, man, you shouldn't have. You had him. You had Tibbs.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, Knicks haven't been relevant in 25 to 30 years. He made them relevant. He got the best out of those players to a certain degree. We can agree or disagree on that, but I just know he did maximize a lot of those players. They won a lot of games. They got to a conference finals. We haven't seen in 25 years. And if you just go back to being a play-in team or out the playoffs for whatever reason, because they don't respond, and it's like, I don't know what to say at that point.
But I tell you what, dog, if they keep that roster and they keep Anunoby, they keep Josh Hart, they keep that core, they keep Brunson, and they keep Cat, I don't think they'll ever get to that point of being a play-in team. They'll always be dangerous.
I mean, on paper,
but
yes.
The one thing I do really quickly, yes. I don't think they'll ever get to that point, dog. I'd rather be a Miami Heat 2023, 2020, where I'm rested going into the playoffs, than be a number 2 seed and burnt out. That's just where I'm at.
I mean, I get you on that. I'm just it's just at the standpoint to where, like, so I look at, so if we look at this roster, Jalen Brunson, like, as good as he is, I don't see where he gets better. If you know what I'm saying, like, how much more better of a player can he get based on who he already is as a player? Like, I don't really see any more room for growth. I feel like he is peak form, and that peak form is excellent, but it's like, can your best player, being him, get to another level? And I don't see it. Cat, like, this dude just got, I feel like unlimited talent, but is he ever going to actually, play defense when it needs to? Like, do you always need somebody there to play defense for you to be a stretch? Mikal Bridges, they traded 5 first-round picks for this dude, and he was not worth that in this playoffs. OG Anunoby, I mean, some games, like every other game, he was good, and every other game, he wasn't as such. So it's like, you stuck with these guys. Can they get better? Josh Hart, like, I love Josh Hart. I do. But some of the fouls that he commits is like, dude, like, your best ability is availability. When you're out there, you're not even out there half the time. So it's like, who can really realistically get better from this core? And you just got rid of the guy that pretty much maximized as much as they could out of these guys. So that's where I'm at. So, I mean, we're going to see. I do like Jason Kidd.
They got a big off season. They got a big
And
off.
if I'm Dallas, like I don't know if I'm want Jason Kidd to be talking to the Knicks unless Jason Kidd don't want to be bothered with that situation anymore, and that's a whole nother story. So if it ain't Jason Kidd, then who? Who's gonna be the guy?
Right. This is a really good question. This is a really, really good question. Knicks got a big offseason. 2 priorities, man. You got to get you a great head coach, not a good one. You got to get a great one. And on top of that, you got to see if Giannis want to come to New York. If the Knicks could get both of those things done, a great head coach, and I mean, without Giannis, they even with that starting 5, they conference finals, semifinals, they in that ballpark still, top 4 in the East. But if you get Giannis, it's championship at that point. It's banners at that point. You gotta be. And so, big offseason for the New York Knicks. We gotta see what they do, man. I would love to see Giannis in New York. I think the world would love to see that. And so, if it happens, it'd be fantastic. But the New York Knicks got a big offseason, dog, and that's where we at. And so, you got any other thoughts, bro?
Nah. That was definitely a good conversation we just had. So, we good.
Definitely. Great question, bro. And so, as we head into the weekend, bro, any final thoughts or shout-outs?
Man, you know what? Man, shout out to us, man. Shout out to us. I don't give a shout out to us. Me, you, we've been rocking. We've been doing this thing. Has it been almost 5? Yeah.
It's been 5. We started in 2020.
During the pandemic.
Been 5 years. Life has changed a lot, man.
Bruh. Shout out to us. Shout out to Ian. Shout out to Tiana. Shout out to Jake when he was rocking with us for that period of time. Just shout out, man. Shout out to the pod, man. I know we're going on hiatus soon.
Yeah.
But
yep, next week will be our last week before we go on hiatus.
What, unless the NBA Finals go 7?
Well, no. If the NBA Finals go 7, we'll still be.
Hold on.
We still probably wouldn't come on.
So we would, because the final game 7 be on June 22nd, which is a Sunday.
Okay, and we could talk about that. Okay, we can talk about that on the 21st.
Yep. But
yeah,
which
so we could talk about that. I don't
see it happening, but we'll see. We'll see.
Right, and so we'll see, man. We will see. And so with that being said, man, shout out to you, bro. My final thoughts and shout outs is as we go into the weekend, be safe, keep God first, and know that with God all things are possible. Love your family, love your life, love others. And so with that being said, on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we would like to say thank you for tuning in with us this morning. Continue to chop it up with us to support our podcast on various platforms. And if you are and would love to talk sports with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we are here and would love to do so with you. Your love and support is truly appreciated, and we hope you all have a blessed and safe weekend. Peace.